Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope Show. A very quick update because I've just seen the news. Literally just come out. Now, yesterday I did the story asking why, the episode asking why former New South Wales Police Officer Kristian White was still running around on bail. You know, what's going on? How come he was still out on bail? So, the news story today. Let's check this out. Former police officer Kristian, that's Christian with a K, Kristian White avoids jail over taser death. It's a nice way of saying over killing a 95-year-old by the name of Claire Nowland. There's a picture of him there. So, former police officer Kristian White avoided bail over the taser death of the great-grandmother, with the victim's family describing the sentence as a slap on the wrist. I wouldn't describe it as a slap on the wrist. I'd describe it as a slap in the face. This is the judge, I suppose, who couldn't come to a decision because, you know, what was he possibly supposed to do? It's the unprecedented. The first time he's had to go through this process, apparently. At sentencing in the New South Wales Supreme Court, almost 2 years after Claire Nowland's death, White was handed a 2-year community correction order and will be required to perform 425 hours of community service. Kill an old lady, community service for you. White, 35, tasered Nowland at the Yellowby Lodge Aged Care Facility in Cooma in the early hours of May 17, 2023, after a staff member called 000 to report an elderly resident wandering the property. Remember, she's wandering the property. She's got a walker because she can barely walk. When you watch the video footage of her, you know, literally to go half a meter. It's taken her like a minute. It's ridiculous how slow, how much she could barely get around. Anyway, so initially with 2 knives and a jar of prunes. Crikey. And entering other residents' room. Nowland, who had symptoms of dementia, was later located by police officers and paramedics in a nurse's room in the administrative wing of the care facility, using her walker and holding one serrated steak knife. Officers attempted to get Nowland to drop the knife. They say they attempted to do that, get her to drop the knife, stop moving before White, who was a senior constable, said, "Nah, bugger it," and deployed his taser. Remember, he had a sergeant standing next to him. She was about as useful as, what do you say? Nowland fell backward, hit her head, and died a week later in Cooma Hospital after suffering an inoperable brain bleed. 12-person jury found White guilty of manslaughter in the New South Wales Supreme Court last November. Justice Ian Harrison told the court White's crime was not premeditated and fell on the lower end of objective seriousness. Lower end. Someone lost their life. That's the lower end, apparently. Remember, it's not like this was an accident. He made a deliberate decision. He walked into the room. He assessed the situation as you're supposedly trained to do as a police officer. He assessed the situation. He said, "Nah, bugger it," and pulled out the taser. Anyway, Mr. White made what by any measure was a terrible mistake. I don't know if you can just say a terrible mistake. He made a decision, and it cost this lady her life. For reasons that may never clearly be understood, if understood at all, he deployed his taser in response to what he perceived to be a threat that, in my view, never called for such a response. On Friday, the court was told White sent a one-page letter of apology to Nowland's family, in which expressed regret for his actions, which was taken into account upon sentencing. Mr. White has expressed remorse, Justice Harrison said. I have no doubt that he regrets what he did. Of course he regrets what he did. He was facing a jail sentence. Of course he regretted it. Dumb statement. Justice Harrison. Do we have to call him Justice? Really? Can't. Anyway, Justice Harrison said the harm White caused to the Nowlands resulted from an error of judgment, but general deterrence played a minor role in sentencing. How about forget deterrence? How about punishment for the crime? Punishment for not following procedure. And it cost someone their life. It's like they keep overlooking the fact that it cost someone their life. The prospect of a police officer in New South Wales intentionally or recklessly causing harm to elderly members of the community in the same or similar circumstances when confronted by an elderly and frail woman in her 90s is so small as to be unlikely to reoccur, he said. So he is just justifying all of this by, hey, no other police officer could possibly be that stupid. I mean, we all know, how the bar has been lowered for police officers who are going through academies all across our nation at the moment. The standard has been lowered. So, yeah, he's saying, well, surely there's no other stupid police officers out there that would do the same thing. Manslaughter in New South Wales carries a maximum punishment of 25 years in jail. Justice Harrison told the court a custodial sentenced would be disproportionate to the objective seriousness of the offence. He said White had already suffered consequences for his actions, included losing his job, and had become an unwelcome member of the Cooma community. Harrison also said it would also be difficult for White to live in prison. Oh, this justice is just... He doesn't deserve to be a judge. So he would find it difficult to live in prison given he was a former police officer. What kind of thinking is this? Mr. White does not present a risk or a danger to the community. Mr. White does not pose a risk of reoffending. White sat still at the sentence as the sentence was handed down as his partner cried. Some members of the Nowland family shook their heads. Speaking outside the court, the victim's eldest son said Michael Nowland, said the family was disappointed with the decision. It was really disappointed for the family because it was, well, a slap on the wrist for someone that's killed our mother. It's very, very hard to process that. I'd rather have a bit more time to process the decision and give a more informed interview. Kristian White's defense lawyer, Warwick Anderson, said outside court his family was very relieved of the outcome. They are now going to take their time and move on with their lives. Asked about whether White would get his job back, as a police officer back, Anderson replied, "We don't know yet." So really? He wants his job as a police officer back. It's disappointing. Funny enough, a couple of you guys who watched the video from the episode from the other day called this very thing. You called it. You said this is why the delay is because they're going to say no. They're going to say they're not going to hand down a prison sentence. You called it. And right you were. This is, I can't say it's disgusting. It's more than disgusting. It's more than disappointing. It's infuriating that you can kill someone because you are unable to assess a situation. You are unable to follow protocol, unable to follow training because your stupid decision caused the death of someone who was really innocent, because the death of one of the most frail and innocent people within our community. Surely young children and extremely old people who are, she's physically impaired. She had dementia. She could barely walk. She deserved better treatment than this, than a police officer who cannot follow policy, cannot follow protocol, cannot think beyond, nah, bugger it. The Australian justice system has failed the New South Wales community, has failed the Nowland family. It's disappointing. It's if he gets his job back, I don't know. What could you say? Nothing would surprise me right now. Anyway, my name's Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna